Welcome to my channel here, and guys, this is politics and Kenya is made of politics. I want to say, and I think I want to repeat, that Deputy President William Ruto is the smartest politician of our time. Why am I saying this? Last week there was trending news here after his security details was downgraded, and that is after the general service unit that was manning his current residence, Sugoi Home and Mountain Elgon View Home, were actually withdrawn and replaced by the APs. So after that, of course, I did another video in this channel where I tried to analyze that that report, that news analysis about that withdrawal. And if you remember, there was a video that I did here and I mentioned about secret phone calls that were done before that move was executed. So in this video, I'm going to revisit that a bit. But in this video, I'm going to tell you how Deputy President William Ruto is sending a message to his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, over that withdrawal. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe and also like and share. So guys, this is it. One of the reasons why the government was actually uncomfortable with Deputy President's current residence. By the way, that withdrawal was never about William Ruto's personal security. And I think I mentioned that and said that it was never to compromise the security of William Samoei Ruto. But during that withdrawal, one of the reasons why the police were being replaced was because there was information that was sent to Deputy President security team that they needed to stop the weekly or rather the daily current meetings. Remember, he's been using that space for his political meetings, meeting leaders from different places, and of course they've been held in that compound. So one thing that happened is that they didn't want William Ruto to host those meetings there. They did subsequent letters and subsequent calls were made by that security team to make sure that they stop those meetings. Why? Because they were never adhering. Remember, this was in following a presidential ruling that was made by President Uhuru Kenyatta in Mombasa, I think 2 weeks earlier, that was going to ban all the political gathering meetings. And actually, President went forward and said that the law should be implemented on everyone, despite of your class or your leadership position. So hold up there. Now, after that, you saw that the government replaced the APs. But when he was in Nakuru, of course, we saw that some of the GSU were sent there, make sure that they offer security. These photos here are photos of a defiant Deputy President meeting Dagoretti North Mama Bogas, according to what is posted from Dagoretti North. And that delegation was led by John Kerry, Millicent Tomanga, the Nixon Korir, and Margaret Wanjiru in his current residence. So guys, this is the first meeting they're holding in that compound after that withdrawal, while that security saga was happening because of those meetings. I wanted to get it clearly. So interestingly enough, yesterday, William Ruto, actually did some, what I can say, a publicity stunt. He welcomed the APs that was then compound. Actually, people were asking why he actually shared that video. There was a 2-minute video that was shared. I want to share that video with you here. That is the moment William Ruto was sharing a light moment with those APs. And actually he went forward and posted in his Twitter that those people who think because the Senate had some MPs wanted to summon Matiang'i so that they could answer the questions about the security saga. But Ruto was so quick to respond to that and said that those people who are wasting time summoning Matiang'i over his security should channel that energy to other things. So he played a victim, what I can say, that he doesn't have a problem with anything. And that is why I say that Deputy President is the smartest politician in this. Guys, this is the truth. That when his security was withdrawn, or rather when the security was downgraded, he was going to be provoked. And I know very well that President Uhuru Kenyatta's handlers wanted him to be provoked, and maybe out of that provocation, he might speak what is irrelevant, or he might get out of control. And that confrontation is what William Ruto avoided. So by avoiding that confrontation, is first to telling people that, look here, I am comfortable with whoever you've sent. In fact, somewhere he was somewhere in Rift Valley and said that even if they can send the G4S, he doesn't have a problem. So the reason why he was sharing that video is because he wanted to tell the general public that the Deputy President's residence is still safe. He wanted to bring that confidence that despite of that security lapse, or despite of that security saga, the space is still safe, the space is still fine. So that as he continues hosting those meetings, that is one of the things that I think is not been getting right. And this is my opinion, and this is the only point where I think William gets it wrong. The government says we ban political gatherings, although you cannot blame politicians on this, because even today Raila was meeting some business leaders somewhere in Isili. Mudavadi is attending a burial in Vihiga, and Ruto was hosting some meetings. So this is the point. When William Ruto hosts those meetings in that current residence, remember that building belongs to the government. So what only means is that he's defying the government directive. So I think people who handle the Hustler Nation Center, one thing they should be so keen on making sure that as much as they go on with those campaigns, but hosting those meetings at that space is using government resources and defying government directive. How I wish. And I don't know why, because if you see, even after, this is not the first time these political gatherings are being banned, but at some time, William Ruto met a host of leaders, Western Kenya caucus, I think somewhere in Naivasha, Nyanza caucus, also somewhere in Naivasha, and even central MPs from Naivasha. And when they held those meetings in those hotels, there have been no problem. There have been no problem. But what is only the problem is hosting those meetings in a property that belongs to the government. But that is why I think what Deputy is telling his boss that, look here, I am not backing down. I am still going to do whatever you like. I'm still going to continue hosting those meetings there, because that is my only space. And of course, you all know that when you look at the way the communication is done in his social media pages, he makes it look like a government project or look like a program, while they're all political meetings. So we are looking forward to that, and I am not surprised that this issue of security of Deputy President is not going to end any soon. It is not going to end because he's not going to stop doing those political meetings. In my analysis, I ever thought that maybe the APs were given strict instructions that no one should be allowed there. But then there is a protocol officer, the office of Deputy President, there is a protocol officer, and the protocol officer is in charge of who gets in there and who doesn't get there. So I think that him even coming out to jail with the administration police that was sent in that resident is trying to show that he's still the hustler. And actually, Ruto is a smart politician, guys. Because when you withdrew the GSU and you sent him the APs, he wanted to gel with the APs so that he still communicates that I am still the simple man that can be protected by an AP. So even accepting with the AP administration police, he still wants to communicate that I am not so complicated that I must just be protected by the GSU. Although you know that he has ways, the presidential escort unit, the REC escort, is still with him. So him as a person is protected. But if him as a person is protected, you don't want to tell me that they only protect him when he's going he's going to campaigns, so he's going to fields. They protect him even in that current residence. So he has found a way to navigate his way and still remain the hustler nation, the hustler chief, even in the face of those tribulations. Guys, I want to end it there. And you can also get to our comment section and tell us about this move by Deputy President to still continue hosting those meetings in the current residence, despite the fact that his security downgrading was done because of those meetings.